to see everyone. Good win on the road. I thought our kids had a lot of good energy, a sense of urgency, and we started off with it during the course of the game. I think we had either opportunities to score on it was maybe 5 of our 6 series during the course of the game, and I think we had really good efficiency offensively. Defensively played well. We did a nice job handling their two-headed monster of Crenshaw and McLaughlin. They were averaging over 200 yards leading into the game, and I think we held them to roughly 60. So that was a big emphasis over the course of the week, and I thought our defensive staff did a great job offensively. Anytime you can average over 10 yards a carry, you're going to have a big day, and we did. I thought our kids played well, efficient pass game. Cam was 10 of 14 with a couple touchdowns. He continues to improve. Some little things that we can continue to work on, and we'll address that at practice and today as we get going. Really the only concern I had, or maybe 2 of them, I thought middle of the third quarter when we started substituting a bunch of people, we got a little complacent, kind of got it picked back up towards the end, finished strong though. Had some big runs out of TK Marshall. It's fun to see guys who put in a lot of time and effort at practice finally get to reap some benefits or the rewards of all their hard work. And then again, we had 2 false starts and a legal shift. We got to do better. Quarterback needs to know what's going on, and then the unsportsmanlike at the end of the game was frustrating, especially when you have about 30 seconds left. You want to get out of the game at that time, and let's be done with it. Injury-wise, Dom Ganella, I know some people, I apologize, I didn't say anything last week. I figured everyone had seen it on social media. He's out right now, had a ankle issue that hopefully we have rectified. Hopefully next couple weeks we'll get him back. In the meantime, we're going to have to lean on the running back room, and there's a wide variety of names in there that can help us win football games. And Hunter Lipke, Hunter Brosio both got banged up a little bit. I'm anticipating they're going to play right now, but I haven't had really any more feedback except from what I heard yesterday. So, and then Gerard Vines should be back. He's out of concussion protocol a couple weeks ago, so he'll be available for us as well. So otherwise, we're relatively healthy at this time. Big week, a lot riding on this game this week. Not only just an outright conference championship, but a number of other things that I think happen if we're able to win. And so we'll probably address those today in our team meeting. USD is a very good football team, and I am not surprised they're playing well. Having played for Bob or Coach Nielsen, I have tremendous amount of respect for him. I've seen him do it before. I think everywhere he's been, he's turned average programs around into really good ones, and he's done the same thing there. They continue to elevate their talent pool. They're averaging 30 points a game. They're going to tempo you if they get opportunities to. I think Carson Camp, their quarterback, is doing an excellent job, very efficient. Their running backs, Travis Thies and Nate, Thomas, have done a great job. I think they both have over 600 yards rushing this year so far. So both physical downhill guys. And then I think their tight ends and wide receivers are very talented as a group collectively. And then you look at the offensive line. They got 3 starters that have been playing since 2019. And so you anticipate that they're starting to come together. They're gelling. They should be playing good football. And then defensively, they continue to improve, play a lot of different people in the back end, up front. But they got themselves believing, and I know that's Coach Nielsen. That's a word he hangs on, and if you get a team to believe, they think they can win every game, and this team right now thinks they can. We're gonna have to play really well. Defensively, their linebackers are probably the 2 guys. Cochran and Brock Morganson, 2 of the guys that jump out at you statistically. Elijah Reed, number 4, the safety, feels like he's been around the league for about 5 or 6 years now. Does a tremendous job as well. And then Jacob Matthew, their hybrid defensive end, number 33. You kind of find him all over the place as well. So they got some really good tools, some really good players. And then the last thing, of course, this week is we're going to be able on Saturday to acknowledge and get our seniors out there. And I think this is a big week for us. We give our seniors an opportunity to address the football team and the staff and all the support people as well. Kind of go down memory lane and talk about some of their best memories. It's funny that Coach Kramer is usually one of those individuals, but he spends probably more time with our players than anybody else. And so it's probably rightfully so that he should be one of their positive memories of their experience here. But it's a good week. Everything's about the seniors. It started that way right after the game at Youngstown, and it'll be that way as we move forward the week and hopefully farther after that. With that, I'll open it up for questions.
Have a game like USD had to win it the way they did last week. How do you guys prepare for that? Well, they're going to be riding a ton of emotion into a game like this weekend.
Well, I think, for us, we have to make sure that we're prepared to play Bison football. How they won a football game, it was in dramatic fashion, of course, at the end of the game, and kind of some unique situations and circumstances that surrounded the ending of the game. But, we need to make sure that we're prepared to play our football game and defend. We got to be able to move the football efficiently. We have to make sure that we can defend what they do and their tempo. We're going to see a bunch of FIB during the course of the game. That's something that Coach Slafke's thrown at us the number of times that I've had to defend them, and in 2019. So I don't know if I'll make much of how they won, but I will bring up that I know they're a confident group right now, and they believe they can beat anybody.
Ever been a part of an ending like that as a coach or a player of the South Dakota game last week?
No, I have not. Not in a situation where, not that I can recall right now off the top of my head, Mike, where it was 1 second left, one play, and everything was riding on it. But there was a number of unique circumstances that kind of led up to that 1 second being on the clock.
In the past, getting beat on those big plays downfield are a concern of yours. Does South Dakota's ability to do things like that last play we saw make your anxiety go up just a little bit more?
Well, of course. They're going to take some shots. There's some 50-50 balls, throw a lot of back shoulder throws out there. And so they're going to try to find the best mismatch. They are an RPO team. They will RPO to the back, away from the back. And so we're going to have to be really good, really disciplined defensively, making sure that we don't just undress ourselves too early, give away some free access throws. But we also got to find ways to generate some pressure. We can't let that quarterback just be comfortable back there.
Success in the run game carry over into this week?
Well, I think one of the things that we made an emphasis last week was we tried to simplify some things. If you watch closely on Saturday, we didn't run probably as many schemes or as many run plays as maybe what you might have seen in games earlier this year. And I think that was twofold. One, we just wanted to play faster. I didn't think we were playing. I felt like we were a little hesitant. We needed to have a little more clarity in our mind. As our hands hit the ground up front, we needed to know exactly what we were doing. I think you saw some of that. I think you saw guys were excited to play. I think there was some energy. There was good juice out there. I thought in pregame and all the situations. And so I think I think our kids got really committed after the loss and kind of pulled it in a little bit. But I think our coaches did a great job of trying to say, hey, let's just be good at what we do and rather than trying to be too cute.
Williams keeps having big games. Just what it is about him that keeps him going the way he's going?
Well, he's probably 6'2", 225 pounds, has great speed. So those physical attributes are really good. And then I know I've made a comment a number of times. Every week he continues to get better and better just because of familiarity with our program. When he showed up in June, he was no different than the freshman that was showing up. He was no different than Brika Pinu. They both knew nothing about what we were doing offensively. He and Coach Brashorner have done a tremendous job of getting that information into Marek, and then he's been able to utilize it, take advantage of it. But now you're starting to see all the reps of practice starting to pay off. There's a reason why we brought him here. We thought he could help us. We needed a different style back. You got Jalen Bussey, you got Tamarick, you got Hunter Lipke, you have Kobe, you have Dom. They all provide something just a little bit different, and he was exactly what we needed on Saturday.
Olson's joining the 60-game club career-wise, which is obviously pretty good, and for an offensive lineman.
For an offensive lineman, I think you have to address that, Jeff. That the fact that he plays offensive line. I think we've had maybe two players before that have done it. Colton Hegel and Christian Dudzik. But when an offensive lineman does it, and you talk about you're in the mix of it every snap, but not only on game day, but also in practice every day. I think that's a pat on the back. It acknowledges our strength staff. It acknowledges our athletic training department, our medical people, to be able to keep a guy like him healthy for that long.
He's not the type that complains or anything. Do you ever notice that? I mean, do you ever feel that?
Be careful about giving him too many compliments now. I catch a complaint every once in a while. Yeah, I give him just a look, and he knows that I don't. But he's a great kid. I had the O-line. I'm getting on a side tangent. He had the O-line over for dinner the other night. One of the occasional meals, and I tell you what, he is the ringleader of that circus that's called our offensive line room. And they are unbelievable kids. They stayed, they laughed. My wife was in tears at different times, just the stories they tell. But again, it always goes back, and I've said it a million times, and I'll keep saying it, the offensive line group and defense is what this program is built on. And so the better those kids up front play, the better we can continue or continue to recruit the right bodies into that room, we'll continue to have success.
House, you had a high school state title and a share of a league title all in a day and a half.
It was a good day. I got home Saturday, and I told the boys congrats, and they told me congrats. So it was good. Mutual respect. I didn't have any trophies to brag about or show. It was funny how the 2 state championship awards they had were sitting on the mantle in the living room. So I guess, but they were super excited. It was fun. Had a chance to kind of watch it off and on in between our meetings from Youngstown. So I guess apparently I'm kind of paying you and Mike's salary a little bit because I had to pay for that WDAY subscription. So you too, Dom? Yeah. I now that I'm doing that, I have some feedback for you guys later. But no, it was good. Fun weekend, and I tell you what, the one who probably rides the emotional roller coaster the most is mom and wife. So she does a tremendous job of keeping us all going in the right direction.
So after the game that the offensive line had more fun at Youngstown State, did you feel they were under pressure, or was it because of the offense was too complicated and they were confused?
I think we backed some things off, went back to kind of our install a little bit. Went back to, if it's good enough to put in on days 1 through 5 of fall camp, it should be good enough to run in games. And so we kind of got back to just who we were a little bit. I think that group does put a lot of pressure on themselves because this is NDSU. They want to play at the highest level possible. They all want to be the best versions of themselves. And I think we just had a good week of practice. I think we avoided, we talked about what was important and left it at that.
You know which seniors are coming back and which don't? Or did I?
Is there something in the?
Okay.
Okay. I think there's 11 of them right now. Yep, 11 seniors that we're going to recognize on Saturday.
Ask you about those seniors. It's kind of a mixed bag from Austin Avery now, in his position to some of these COVID kids back to the actual seniors. What's this class kind of stand out? How do they stand out in your mind? Because you also have, your Jackson Hankey, somebody like that. Some of these guys, obviously Olson in this group, Christian Watson, Logan McCormick's been here. Some of these names really have epitomized the success you guys have had in the last few years.
Well, I think this group, just like you said, Beth, probably epitomizes what being a Bison is about. They've had some ups and downs through their career. Some of them, no fault of their own. I think their character, their perseverance, their ability to handle setbacks is proven and shown over and over and over. I have a tremendous amount of respect and appreciation for this group. We have 3 young men that on our football team that came back for 6 years. Braden Thomas, Michael Buteau, and Cordell Volson. And again, we talked about Cordell earlier, but just a lot of these guys are part of our leadership council. I've gotten to know them. I appreciate them. They've gotten to, Cordell's been here 6 years. I've been here 8 or 9. He's seen me develop as a coach. I've seen him develop as a player. He's seen my family grow up right in front of him, and so I try not to think too much about it. I just want to keep winning. That way I don't have to think about it.
Seniors that aren't on this list, does that necessarily mean they're not coming back, or they are coming back, or you don't know? Like,
right now, those guys are coming. As far as I know, they're coming back. I've had conversations with anyone who's labeled a senior, and sometimes I even get confused about why we're labeling people seniors. But as far as I know, the other young men are all coming back. They all have another year of eligibility. Some of them are trying to wrap up maybe a second degree. We have more kids in the master's program right now than we probably have ever had, and that is a byproduct of the COVID year. And I'm excited to know that we have a number of really good players that are going to be back next year for us.
Wilson going to attempt to play? He's still listed on the roster?
At this time, I don't think he will. I think and again, I don't know that yet, but between him and I in our conversations, my number one priority is making sure that he's healthy for quality of life and that he has his degree. Because those are two things that we did talk about in the recruiting process. Never talked about a 6th-year playing, never talked about, how long you were going to be here, but I know for a fact I talked with him and his mom about getting a degree. And so that's my emphasis right now.
Think about Jake Reinhold's kid that came from Fargo, was a soccer star here that's turned into I know he didn't have a great day Saturday, but a guy who's been pretty reliable for you over the last couple of years.
I think you said it right there. He's been extremely reliable, consistent throughout his career. I've got to spend the last 3 years with Jake, getting to know him better. In my previous role as a D coordinator, you had a little bit of conversation or interaction with the specialists, but now as the head coach, you have much more. You're much more involved in their day-to-day, involved in their recruiting, and he's been great for us. I know this weekend he'd be the first one to beat himself up over. I mean, it was a career-long, plenty of leg to it, too. And the other one, just on that south end, just the wind got to it a little bit and pushed it about 6 inches left, but I still got trust in him. And if we need a big kick, I know he's going to do it. If we need to put it on to the right or left on kickoff, he's going to get it done. And the thing that he's been really good with, Dom, is he's dealing with some freshmen in that group now. And he's done a really good job with guys like Caden Steindorf, with Michael Florentine, of getting those guys to bind. Hey, this is what it takes. And sometimes better yet, this is what it doesn't look like to be a Bison. And learning the hard way. And so he's been really good from the development piece. And I think Caden and Flo's transition as freshmen in college has hopefully been assisted by a guy with Riney's experience.
On this some, but how much better is USD up front? I mean, compared to past years.
I think they're solid. I think they have 5 guys that know what they want to do. With what they do offensively, they're a big zone scheme team. They'd run a little bit of gap scheme. They're not under center or dotting the tailback. So it's not necessarily trying to knock people off the ball, but get in people. I think move people enough, give their backs an opportunity. But I do think they're coached up on what they want to accomplish and how they want to get it done.
Carson Camp, I know you didn't get a chance to see him last year since the game was canceled the day of the game. Where have you seen him? What is his best attribute as a quarterback?
Well, he seems like he gets the ball out really fast. I watched a TV copy this last week. I thought South Dakota State had decent pressure on him. He didn't seem to get rattled. He got the ball out, took some big hits. Must be a relatively tough kid, staying in the pocket. They have not used him as maybe they have in the run game as much as some of their other quarterbacks they've had. Not sure if that is on purpose, but they have played two different quarterbacks at different times too, so maybe they're trying to spread some of that quarterback run game out. But I think he's a really solid quarterback. I thought he was decent last year. I remember preparing for him and watching him against Illinois State, thinking, this is another young quarterback in the league, someone we're going to have to deal with for the next 3-4 years.
You guys win this game, it could set you up. It could help set you up for some stuff in the postseason. And are you going to address that with the guys, or is it strictly senior day? And
of course I will. Yep. Well, and I think they know. I mean, they know what's up for. What this game means and means to them, means to their families, means to the program. There's no reason to avoid it. It is what it is. Whatever it takes to motivate, we're going to find it and get them going this week.
Last one. How would you judge your transfers this year so far? I think you brought in 6 kids or something or whatever it was, something like that.
Yeah,
Do you have any general thoughts on the,
I think they've all been solid, and they've all come in and done what we've asked. I don't think we intended to go out and find guys that were just going to be. If they were a transfer and they wanted to come here, one of the conversations I had and I think our coordinators had on their respective sides of the ball, if you're looking for a showcase program, this isn't it. If you're looking for a place that is going to teach you how to play football the right way, a place that's going to appreciate hard work and energy, this is it. And if you like to win or have the opportunity to win every week, this is a good place to be. And I think all of our kids, Luke Laciento, the offensive line, has given us great depth at that guard position. Gerard Vines, I know he's been banged up a couple weeks, but has given us depth at corner. Tamarick Williams has given us depth at running back. Gabe Lloyd got banged up early, never really had an opportunity to do anything. So, I mean, I think they've all been really solid for us at different times and helped us.
is Gabe are you expecting him to come back next year too, Gabe, or is he?
So, I don't know. With his injury right now, we don't know where he's at in that rehab process. It is they're talking 6 to 8 month rehab with his injury. So, I think we'll leave that conversation for later in the spring, or it was a shoulder. Yep, later in the spring or closer to the holidays. That semester. All right, thanks, guys.